Right, Diarmuid Lombard. Where do we start? Well, sure, you're the salesman here in TFM Clonmel, along with myself and Paul O'Connor. You're here, you're well into your third year at this stage, Jimmy, are you?
2.5 years, coming on 3 years now shortly. So.
Okay. Before we kind of get into what you do every day, you've had a reasonably interesting path in the machinery game as well. So, like I said to a lot of the lads, bring me back to the day you threw the school bag over the ditch after doing the leaving cert.
Yeah, well, that was a good day.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where did it go from there?
So yeah, I after school I used to do a bit of work experience when I was in school and bits and pieces like that with a machinery dealer of a different colour, different brand, down in Cork there, and served my time with them. And
it's okay, you can mention Kearney's.
Oh, they're nice people, like. So yeah, that was with Kearney's. They looked after me very well, and I served my time down there. And the whole idea, the whole thing was to possibly eventually get into sales at one point with them. That was kind of the ultimate goal. And yeah, went into spare parts with them after qualifying. And shortly after that, then I kind of decided that I wanted to spread my wings a little bit more and look at Australia. So I went over to Australia and done some farming over there, drove diggers over there for a fair while, and then decided that I would come home out of there again. I was advised not to, that there was some kind of a pretty bad recession here at the time, or I don't know. I thought it was a whole hullabaloo over nothing, and so I came home, and turns out there was a bit of a recession. so yeah, I had to.
You moved through it all a bit quick there, so I'm going to bring it back again.
Yeah.
Okay, because the piece you alluded to is you're not from farming background.
No. So my both my parents come off a farm, but yeah, we just we weren't quite townies, but we didn't live on a farm either, I suppose. My dad has always been involved in the machinery game, I suppose. He was through spare parts with Atkins down through the years, done a lot with Manus milking machines, and then alluded into his own milking machine business after that, which he's still involved in. So yeah, so that's how the love for machinery then always came from. I suppose summers down at my aunt and uncle's below in Ballyduff. They were baling contractors at the time, and then my father's home place, a bit of tillage over there. So yeah, always had a good mix of everything that's going on, and then the good old been around with every contractor in the district down through the years as well. So I'd an I1 and move on to the next level.
Yeah, it was strongly rumoured at the time one of the reasons Michael Houlihan retired was because of you.
Yeah. I never got any of the money myself, but the intention was that it was meant to be mine.
Yeah. Mike will be back to you on that one later. Yeah. So here we are now. In TFM, but again I'm going to still go back a little bit.
Yeah.
You talked about going to Australia, but that wasn't just a passing week or two, like you gave 12 years there, was it?
Yeah, so the first time that I was there, that was the first time I was there. So I was there for a year and a half in the first stint, and came home and things were a bit tough, and went back on the spanners myself, and I'd done a bit of spanner work here, there and everywhere, but I'll be honest, it was hard enough to gather up a few pound and stay alive and stuff like that. And then I met my lovely wife, who was nursing in England at the time. So I decided she was trying to get away from me a little bit quick, so I moved to England, chased her.
Okay.
Kind of regretting that now. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, we ended up living together over there. Bridget was training to be a nurse, and then I made some real good friends with a guy over there, a man from Donegal who married into quite a good farm in a good area over there. He was doing a bit of sheep farming, and he just bought this 5-ton machine, and like a little mini excavator, and he wanted someone to operate that and do a bit of tractor work, and I was doing a bit of harvesting then on the big farm, bit of seeding, this, that and the other thing. And yeah, that went really well then. I was there for about a year and a half or so as well. And then one day I was going through the Farmers Weekly in England, and I see this job advertised in a little place called Clonmel, population 250 people, John Deere dealer. So this is the town where I was initially when I was working over in Australia. But they had advertised that they were progressing forwards with their franchise and dealership, and someone had bought them out, and they were gonna drive on a bit. And they were advertised. They were doing a big recruitment campaign in the UK and Ireland. And I knew the branch manager from my first stint there, so I rang him, and he said, "We'll be in Newbury in a couple of weeks, come down and have a chat." Went down, had a chat, and before I'd left, they'd offered me a job to go out there, sponsorship, Jeep, car.
This was to go straight into sales, of course.
Straight into sales, yeah.
Okay.
Which I'd never done before, so I was a bit...
Just before you jump on the plane to go, why were they so anxious for somebody from Ireland or the UK? What was the attraction to bring in somebody across the water?
I think the attraction at the time was like experience. We seemed to gain a lot of experience when we're younger here. The whole work ethic of the younger Irish lad with travelling and, you know, just wanting to spread their wings and make their mark somewhere else. Like it was... Yeah. Like very, very good opportunity. It was really good. So yeah.
Right, so you jumped on the plane.
So
landed in Australia.
Landed in Australia, stayed in the Flag Motor Lodge, which I thought was pretty flash actually. I thought it was fairly cool, but
you had made it.
Yeah, when you kind of turn into more acquainted with the Australian people, turns out you don't stay there. So a lot of people get murdered.
All part of the learning.
Yeah. So yeah, we landed there, and then there was an older guy that kind of done a bit of running around for them. He picked me up on the Monday morning and brought me up to Clonmel, and went in. They gave me keys of a 2-year-old Jeep. All the an Isuzu D-Max. All the lads over there were like, "Oh, you got the badge." I've never had a Jeep before in my life, so I was pretty happy. All I was missing was the horse and the horse box, really. So yeah.
Well, like, you had a massive learning curve that day out. You were new to sales.
Yeah.
You were in a country you knew nothing about apart from the brochure.
Yeah.
And you had a sparseness. You could look to any direction and probably couldn't see the next farm.
Yeah.
That had to be fair daunting.
Yeah, and you know, when I decided I'd go first, I went out there on my own to try and get everything set up before Bridget came over and stuff like that. So it was a bit daunting. I was lucky there was a lot of Irish people in Perth from down around the Dungarvan area that I knew already, so that wasn't too bad. But when you went up into that town, like population 250 people, you didn't know any of these people really, and you kind of had to make it your own. But I would not change a thing. That place was home from home. It sounds like a very small populated area, but it was magical. They once you were shown to take part in any part of the community at all, they put their arms around you and just
put it in perspective. How far from the nearest city were you?
3 hours.
3 hours
from the nearest city. Yeah.
That's from Dublin to Galway.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So there wasn't much between it. There was probably 1 or 2.
And as you progressed in the sales over there and you found your feet, like what was your bread and butter? Tractors, combines, tillage equipment?
Your 300 horsepower tractor, your 60 foot or 18 meter seeder, and then your combine with your 40 foot header. They were and your sprayer with 120 foot. So they were kind of the four things. But it was really technology that took off for me over there. That's what they started me on. That's what my boss started me on straight away. He says, like the first day I started, he gave me half a dozen Starfire 3000 receivers. They were brand new at the time. I knew absolutely nothing about GPS, and he says, put them into your car now, head west, don't come back till they're sold. So it's back the next morning. So, but look, them guys were getting into it then over there. Like that was nearly 15 years ago now. Like they were well on the path for going down the GPS line. It was if I had a tool there was going to make their life easier every day. So you know, it was an easy enough sell afterwards.
Right. 2 children later, you're married to Bridget at this stage, and you made the decision it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Right, and I know you had been home previously for the wedding, I think it was at the time, and you had been putting the feelers out in the machinery game.
Yeah.
You eventually convinced Pat Costello anyway to come on board and take you on board, and you landed into the John Deere dealership, as I said, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Another bit of a culture shock?
Yeah, definitely. After being away for so long, you don't kind of realise, but so much changes here, you know. Like Ireland is a very adapting country, like very adaptive to change. As much as we go on that we don't like change, nobody likes change, but the way this country and culture adapts to change is just incredible. Like the knocks and blows that we're getting from EU regulation, this, that and the other thing, it's, you know, it's a big blow in one year, and then the following year we're kind of grabbing the bull with the horns, embracing it and figuring out what we can do to change and make life better going forward. So it's incredible.
Regulation, of course, being something now that you wouldn't have been overly bombarded with over there.
We didn't even have AdBlue. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and here, like, you know, everything is about what you can't do.
Yeah, absolutely, and I suppose that's where I see my knowledge with the technology and bits and pieces like that can probably help with some of that, to help lads capture data and what they're doing, and getting a bit more precise in the field, and getting that pinpoint, you know, drop grain accuracy and all that kind of stuff. It's the pathway that it's taken. You can really see, because this year is you know, every year is tough in farming, but this year, the last 2 years have been incredibly tough. So that was probably a massive culture shock for me, to come out of COVID and then come out of a drought, and then thinking that coming back to Ireland everything was going to be fine, and then we have 2 wet droughts, you could basically call them. That was a big bang for me. So to have this year now and see that people are a lot more open to change and progress and move forwards.
I remember saying to you, just when you came into the place, we were coming off the back of, and probably not so much, 23 was a good year in the machinery game as well, but we had 3 or 4 good years in it, and you definitely timed it wrong.
Yeah.
To come home.
Yeah.
There was a slip in machinery sales.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was driven by, sure, fellas were involved in the 18-month winter, as we referred to it as. Like, it rolled from winter into a bad summer into winter again. Yeah. So you had all those things to deal with as well.
Yeah, you did. And look, the droughts that I went through in Australia probably helped me through that. Like, you know, in a drought situation, we were always taught, like, always educated, as our job in sales at that point was to just to go be someone to talk to. Just, you know, it's just,
there's more to being a salesman than being a salesman.
100%. You just need to be relative to the people, and whether it's selling machinery to make their life better or just to sit down and have a cup of tea, it doesn't matter. So that's the job.
I've always said that about being in sales. I have to say, you need to be a small bit of a priest, a psychologist, a salesman, a mechanic.
Yeah. God bless the work.
You know, sometimes a father and a mother, you know, in the middle of a conversation, you know what I mean? And you really have to read it when you go in the gate and see, hey, what do I need to be here now for the next 10 minutes?
Absolutely.
Or half an hour, you know?
Absolutely. It's you know, and that's a part of the job that's why we do it every day. I suppose you're a bit the same. It's, you know, and we're all, to be fair to all the sales lads and the owners and stuff as well, that's why, you know, you're part of a community, a very tight-knit community, that, you know, and that's why we do it. So
Right, as we said already, you're about 2.5 years in, but your role now has changed again within the company. So you've hit the ground running with your 2 years in sales.
Yeah.
But you need only listen to you to know the technology is a passion of yours anyway. But your role now has kind of changed a bit within the company as well, and you're heading up the AgriCare side of the TFM business.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that and what's there already and where is it going and where you'd like to see it going.
Yeah, so there at I suppose the end of the last year is when talks started first. So I've been appointed as the Precision Ag Business Manager now for kind of the group, and it's just to give a bit of structure on the whole AgriCare thing. So it was brilliant. Like the whole AgriCare thing was there and it was ready to go.
I suppose just before you go there now, we should stress like that AgriCare is a TFM brand.
Yep, 100%.
So tell us a little bit about what AgriCare is before you came into it and where you wanted to go, but just explain what AgriCare, the brand or the product, is.
Yeah, so I suppose AgriCare, what it is I suppose it's the bridge between sales and service in regards technology to, because it's the bridge between sales and service with technology that helps the customer and helps us together as a progressive to move forward to get to the results and situations that we want to get to. So that's, I suppose, in 20 seconds, I suppose that's what it is. It's a division of the company that's.
It's a mechanic for the technology, really, isn't it?
100%. It's a support for technology that we didn't have before. So what the lads will be doing, they'd be updating software in the background, they'd be training is a big part of what we do now with our customers and the staff to keep everyone up to the level, because the technology is moving at such a rate, and we were going in the right projection, like upwards, but it's in the last 2 years it's taken a curve up again. So we're just trying to work hard to keep up with that and keep our lads in front of it all the time. And every day is a learning day, and not every day is easy, but it's exciting. Like, it's really exciting that we're right up there in the front of it. So it's
AgriCare as a team, when it started out, probably 18 months before you came on board, was a 2-man team.
Yeah.
Then it was gone to a 4-man team.
Yeah.
Then you came on board.
Yeah.
And now the team is growing again. Like, that'll tell you the speed the technology is developing at and is moving at. Like.
Yeah, that's right. And we're talking about maybe growing again. So like support on the whole. Like, let it not even. So I don't want to be sitting here talking about technology and people just think that it's straight line farming, receivers and auto track and all. I'm talking about newer machines like balers, sprayers, rakes, all this stuff now that comes with an Isobus controller on it. That's where we're part of helping with other brands, not only brands that we sell, like everything as a collaborative, that our clients are getting the results because this gear is not getting any cheaper.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So lads need to be able to get the value out of it, So yeah.
So right, you're involved in the AgriCare team now, and as I said, you're pushing forward. I interrupted you there a second ago, but I just wanted to set out the base. So where is the push forward now? Where do you see it heading in the next 12 to 18 months alone?
So the next 12 to 18 months, what I can see from my analysis, through droughts and through good times, application is a big part of everything that we're doing going forwards. So spraying, spreading fertilizer, using things like satellite imagery. A lot of this stuff is very easily accessible and doesn't cost a lot of money at all. A lot of it's free, actually. So there's information there for farmers who don't even have the machinery there with the technology on there, that they can get some information off their farms. All it takes is a little purple line put around their field called the boundary, and everyone would have heard me, including yourself, when I started first. It was on about boundaries. Boundaries.
I used to wake up at night talking about boundaries.
But now everyone's starting to see, oh, maybe he wasn't that crazy after all.
No, you were definitely that crazy, all right, but we do understand some of the logic in it.
Yeah.
So, yes, and I would agree with you, we need to start looking at the fertilisers and the spray side of it. More so than just, it's not all about straight lines.
No, definitely. That's the straight line is a tool that helps that stuff work better. But collecting data or information, let's not scare people with the whole scary data world, but collecting information is
and it's much broader than tillage, isn't it? Because one of the things fellas always says to me, oh, grass, yeah, sure, what's that got to do with it? But grass now, between nutrients losses in ground and the different restrictions are there, the type of information we're talking about gathering is your rates that we're applying on certain and taking information like soil tests, taking information like yield maps, taking information like what I have in my slurry tank in a minute, putting the whole lot together.
That's right.
And trying to figure out, well, it looks like that's what I'm doing right for the field, but am I doing right by the field? Yeah,
that's right. And it's all of that stuff, like you just said, it's information, and you need information to make decisions about things going forward. Like, that's just, no matter whether it's farming or running a factory, that's just the way it is. Like, without information you can't progress forwards. So yeah, and having the information all in your head, as you well know, you'd burn yourself out by having it all in your head but not storing it anywhere else for the next generation to come on and make some decisions. That makes it a bit hard too. So having someone to put all that stuff is quite important.
Right, we're going to bring you away from the technology side of it for things, right? And we're going to talk about Diarmuid Lombard demand for a minute. So Diarmuid, where do you see yourself heading in the next 5 years in the machinery game? Do you see yourself sticking with the whole AgriCare side of things and pushing on in that direction? Or is there something you'd like to do? Or do you have you even thought about it?
I just work day on day at the moment, but no, I'm invested in the whole machinery game. The technology side of things going forwards is it's very exciting. It's a very exciting, if there's any young lads watching, it's a very, very exciting spot to be in at the moment. I know I get the mickey taken out of me a fair bit for being very passionate about the thing, but it is a very exciting place to be at the minute. There's some stuff coming thick and fast that's going to excite it. And I'm not talking about just tractors just driving themselves. I'm talking about stuff that's going to be exciting for us here in Ireland, that'll even suit our grassland farmers. You know, it's pretty good stuff. It's
you have two small girls at home, a little bit early in their time to be deciding their direction in life. Would you encourage agriculture? Would you encourage the machinery game? Would you steer them 100 miles away from it?
No, I definitely encourage it. It's not done us too bad, has it?
It depends on who you ask, but I think personally we're going okay.
Yeah, we've got a roof over our heads and a car under our ass, and our families are happy. That's the most important.
That's about the size of it, yeah.
We don't have a heap of money now.
No, but like, you know, I asked a man there lately, I said, what has kept you in the machinery game so long, like, and his answer was, my wife's wages. So we leave it there, we'll move on, you know.
I know, the future of the whole industry, it's very exciting. If my girls wanted to get into it, I would back them 100%. If they didn't want to go into it, I would still back them 100%. Whatever they want to do, I'd be happy.
So agriculture in the future doesn't frighten you?
No, not one bit in the slightest. I think when you go away and you travel the world, David, you come back to this little island and see the colour of the milk and the colour of the butter and how animals perform in this place with the grass that we grow. It's top notch, better than anywhere else in the world, and that's worth something. You know.
Diarmuid Lombard, thank you very much for your time, good man.
Sound, Dave.